Hi friends, I am Uday Kandpal and I welcome you all to yet another lecture on NCERT Class 6 History Chapter 7 with fact elaboration by Uday Sagar Kandpal. The name of the chapter is Ashok, the Emperor who gave up war. So let's start. The Maurya Dynasty. Prior, prior dynasty to the Maurya Dynasty was the Brihadratha Dynasty, the Haryanka Dynasty, the Shishunaga Dynasty, and the Nanda Dynasty. Then the Mauryan Dynasty had 322 to 180 BCE. They present, and they had Chandragupta Maurya 322 to 297 BCE, founded by Mauryan Dynasty. Bindusar 297 to 272 to 268 BC, Ashok, the one who will talk about 272 to 268 to 232 BC, Dashrath 232 to 224 BC, Samprati 224 to 215 BC, Shalishuk 212 to 202 BC, Devvarman 202 to 195 BC, Shatdhanvan 195 to 187 BC, and Brihadratha 187 to 180 BC. So Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar, Ashok, Dashrath, Samprati, Shalishuk, Devavarman, Shatdhanvan, and Brihadratha. So this was the Magad Empire, how it expanded to the Magad Empire. So there are all the dynasties. The source for this data is Wikipedia. You can see the growing influence of Chandragupta Maurya, and then this is Ashoka Mauryan period. This is Pushyamitra Shunga period. So Rajgriha started to expand. Then Varanasi and Shravasti, then Kaushambi, Ujjain, then Mathura, Chittakundi, and Tamralipti, then Taxila and Patal and the Kandahar, then Sopara and Suvarnagiri, and then Tosali also. So this was all included, and then this disintegrated. Short history of the Brihadratha Dynasty. Brihadratha Dynasty, also known as the Maharat, was the founder of Brihadratha Dynasty. So Brihadratha was the founder of Brihadratha Dynasty, the earliest ruling dynasty of the Magad. He was the earliest ruling dynasty of the Magad. According to the Mahabharat and the Purans, he was the eldest of the 5 sons of Vasu, the Kuru king Chedi and his queen Girik. The name of the Brihadratha is also found in the Rig Veda. The changed name of the Brihadratha dynasty is the Ravani dynasty. Brihadratha established his dynasty in Magad. Dipunjay was his last in his lineage, who was killed by the minister in 6th century BC. All the Purans mention his sister Amna as his successor. Kushag was succeeded by his son Rishav or Rishav. Pushyavant or Pundyavant was the eldest son of Rishav. Pushpavant was succeeded by his son Satyahit. Satyahit's son was Sudhanvan or Sudharma or Dharmatma or Dhanush. Dhanush was succeeded by his son Sarva. Urja, Jatu or Jahu or Jantu. Sarva was succeeded by his son Sambhav. According to the Agni Puran, Sambhav was succeeded by the son Jarasandh, the noted warrior king mentioned in the Mahabharata. However, all the Puranic genealogical list mentioned the name Brihadratha again between the Jantu and the Jarasandh and Sambhadev and Jarasandh was succeeded by his son Sahadev, who was killed in the Kurukshetra war. So this was at the time of Kurukshetra war according to the Mahabharata. Then after that was the Haryanka dynasty. The Haryanka dynasty is believed to have been the second ruling dynasty of Magad, an empire of ancient India which succeeded the mythological Bharata dynasty. Initially the capital was Rajgir, later it was shifted to Patliputra near the present-day Patna or in India during the reign of Udayin or Udaybhadra. Thus Bimbisar is considered as the main founder of the dynasty. The governance structure of the Haryanka dynasty is mentioned in Buddhist texts. They mention Gramakas, the village headmen who headed assemblies, and Mahamatras, high-ranking officials who were executive, judicial, and military functions. Bimbisar reigned from the 545 to 493 BC. The extent of the kingdom is mentioned as Mahavagga. His advisor included Sona Kolivis, Suman, flower gatherer, Koli, minister, Kumbhaghosh, treasurer, Jivak, physician. He was given the title of Senior. Ajatashatru reigned from 493 to 462 BC. He married Vajira, the Kosala princess. In other sources, Bimbisar was imprisoned and killed by his successor Ajatashatru, under whose rule the dynasty reached its largest extent. Ajatashatru was contemporary with Mahavir 599 to 527 BC and Gautam Buddha 563 to 483 BC. Ajatashatru fought a war with Vajji ruled by Lichavis and conquered the Republic of Vaishali. Udayin or Udaybhadra mentioned in the Buddhist and the Jain text as the successor of Ajatashatru. Puranas, however, mention him as the fourth king after Darshak. Puranas mention Nandivardhan and Mahanandi as the successor of Udayin. According to the Buddhist tradition, Anuruddha, Munda and Nagadarshak were his successor. Haryanka dynasty were ultimately overthrown out of their power by Amatya minister Shishunaga. So, short history of Shishunaga dynasty. The Shishunaga dynasty is believed to have been third ruling dynasty of Magad, an empire of ancient India. According to the Hindu Purans, this dynasty was second ruling dynasty of Magad, succeeding Nagdashak of the Haryanka dynasty. Shishunaga was the founder of the dynasty, was initially Amatya or the minister of the last Haryanka dynasty ruler Nagdashak, and ascended to the throne after a popular rebellion in 421 BCE. The capital of the dynasty initially was Rajgir, but later shifted to Patliputra near the present-day Patna during the reign of Kakavarna Kal Ashok. According to tradition, Kakavarna was succeeded by his 10 sons, Bhadrasen, Korandavarna, Mangur, Sarvajaha, Jalik, Ubhak, Sanjay, Koravai, Nandivardhan, and Panchamak. This dynasty was succeeded by the Nanda Empire, that is 345 BCE. Short history of Nanda dynasty. The Nanda dynasty ruled in the northern part of the Indian subcontinent during the 4th century BC and possibly during the 5th century BC. The Nandas overthrew the Shishunaga dynasty in the Magad region of the eastern India and expanded their empire to include a larger part of northern India. Ancient sources differ considerably regarding the names of Nanda kings and duration of their rule, but based on the Buddhist tradition recorded in the Mahavansh, they appear to have ruled during 345 to 322 BCE, although the same theories date the start of their rule to 5th century BCE. The Nanda capital was located at Patliputra near present-day Patna in the Magad region of the eastern India. This was confirmed by the Buddhist and Jain tradition as well as the Sanskrit play Mudrakshash. The Puranas also connect the Nandas to the Shishunaga dynasty, which ruled in the Magad region. The Greek accounts state that the Agrimes identified as the Nanda king was a ruler of the Gangari Dai, the Ganges Valley, and the Prasi, probably a transcription of the Sanskrit word Pachyas, literally the Easterners. According to the later writer Megasthenes, 300 BC, Patliputra or the Paliputra was located in the country of the Prasi, which further confirms that Patliputra was the Nanda capital. The Nanda Empire appears to have stretched out from present-day Punjab in the west to Odisha in the east. An analysis of the various historical sources, including the ancient Greek accounts, the Puranas, the Hathigumpha inscription, suggests that the Nandas controlled eastern India and the Ganges Valley, and at least a part of Kalinga. It is also highly probable that they controlled Avanti region in central India, which made it possible for the successor Chandragupta Maurya to conquer the present-day Gujarat, western India. According to Jain tradition, the Nanda ministers subjugated the entire country up to the coastal areas. The Puranas state that the Nanda king Mahapadma destroyed the Kshatriyas and attained undisputed sovereignty, or the Kshatriyas have said to have been exterminated by him, including the Maithilas and the Kashyas, the Ikshvakus, the Panchalas, the Shoshenas, the Kurus, the Hahayas, the Vitihotras, the Kalinagas, and the Ashmakas. The Maurya period. The Mauryan Empire that famous King Ashok ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta was supported by a wise name called Chanakya or Kautilya. Many of the Chanakya's ideas were written in the book called Arthashastra. Ashoka is said to have a secret army of 9 people known as the 9 Unknowns, or as the guardians of secret technology books called the 9 books. These were of the following subjects: the propaganda. The first book contained the techniques of propaganda and physiological and psychological warfare. This was an important aspect because if one could make public opinion, one could rule the world. Physiology. The second book focused on physiology and explained how to kill a person simply by touching him. It involved reversal of the nerve impulse. Microbiology. The third book discussed microbiology and biotechnology. They had apparently developed the divine nectar and thus immortal and have lived down these 2000 years. Alchemy. The fourth book dealt with alchemy, the transmutation of metals. Mundi supported the theory of this by claiming that in times of severe drought, temples and relief organizations received large quantities of the gold from a secret source. Communication. The fifth book contained the study of all means of communication, both terrestrial as well as extraterrestrial, which means that the 9 unknown men were aware of the latter. Gravity. The sixth book explored the secrets of gravitation and contained instructions on how to build an anti-gravity flying machine known as Viman. Cosmology. The seventh book dealt with the cosmology and all matters related to the new universe. Light. The eighth book discussed the properties of light, such as the speed of light and how to change its speed to use it as a weapon. Sociology. The ninth book was about sociology. It includes the rules of evolution of human societies and a mean of foretelling the eventual decline. Thus, it contained ways to create, nurture, and destroy a whole culture of civilization. Chanakya. Chanakya was an ancient Indian teacher, philosopher, economist, jurist, and royal advisor. He is traditionally identified as Kautilya or Vishnugupta. Chanakya assisted the first Mauryan emperor Chandragupta in the rise to power. He is widely credited for having played an important role in the establishment of Mauryan Empire. Chanakya served as the chief advisor to both Emperor Chandragupta and his son Bindusar. Chanakya was named in many legends, some of which were Buddhist version like Mahavansh and its commentary, the Vamsat Pakshini, Pali language. Jain version was Parishisht Parvan by Hemchandra, Kashmiri version by Katha Sarit Sagar by Somdev, and Brihat Katha Manjri by Shemendra. Vishak Datta's version was Mudrakshash, Sanskrit played by Vishak Datt. Important Mauryan cities: Taxila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia. Ujjain, en route to the north to South India. Merchants, officials, and craftspersons probably lived in these cities. Patliputra, the capital city. Some of the cities where inscriptions of Mauryan period are found are Lauria, Raraj, Rampurva, Lumbini, Sarnath, Kaushambi, Allahabad, Gujjar, Rupna, Sanchi, Panguraria, Sopara, Sannathi, Dhauli, Jaugarh, Yeragudi, Brahmagiri, Kandahar. The map on the next page shows the extent of the Mauryan Empire. So you can see all the cities from Kandahar to Tandulipti and to Mahastan and to Brahmagiri and to the Shahbazgarh. So all the boundary regions you can see the Meerut or Delhi and so all the North India and the Deccan region except for the Tamil Nadu and Kerala are present in this map, and also all the places other than the northeast. The Mauryan rule: the empire was divided into four provinces with the imperial capital at Patliputra. From Ashokan edicts, the name of the four provincial capitals are Tosali in the east, Ujjain in the west, Suvarnanagari in the south, and Takshila in the north. The head of the provincial administration was the Kumar royal prince, who governed the provinces as king's representative. The Kumar was assisted by Mahamatyas and the council of ministers. The organizational structure was reflected at the imperial level into with the emperor and his Mantri Parishad council of ministers. The Mauryans established a well-developed coin minting system. Coins were mostly made up of silver and copper. Certain gold coins were in circulation as well. The coins were widely used for trade and commerce. Local government Arthashastra and Megasthene's account of Patliputra describes the intricate municipal systems followed by the Mauryan Empire to govern its cities. The city council, made up of all 30 commissions, were divided into 6 committees or boards which governed the city. The first board fixed the wages and looked after provided goods. Second board made the arrangement of the foreign dignitaries, tourists, and businessmen. Third board made the records of the registrations. Fourth looked after the manufactured goods and the sale of commodities. Fifth board regulated the trade, issued licenses, and checked the weights and measurements. Sixth board collected sales tax. Some cities such as Taxila had autonomy to issue their own coins. The city council had officers who looked after the public welfare, such as maintenance of roads, public buildings, market, hospitals, education institutions. The official head of the village was Gramika. In the towns Nagrika, the city council also had some magisterial power. Economy: for the first time in South Asia, political unity and military security allowed for a common economic system and enhanced trade and commerce with increased agriculture productivity. The previous situation involved the hundreds of kingdoms, many small armies, powerful regional chieftains, and internecine warfare gave way to a disciplined central authority. Farmers were freed of tax and crop collection burdens from regional kings, paying instead to a nationally administered and strict but fair system of taxation as advised by the principles in the Arthashastra. Chandragupta Maurya established a single currency across India and a network of regional private armies and the powerful chieftains who sought to impose their own supremacy. Governors and administrations and civil service provided justice and security for merchants, farmers, and traders. The Mauryan army wiped out many of the gangs of bandits, regional private armies, and powerful chieftains who sought to impose their own supremacy in the small areas. Although regimental in revenue collection, Maurya also sponsored many public works and waterways to enhance productivity, while internal trade in India expanded greatly due to the newfound political unity and internal peace. Mauryans tried to control roads and rivers. Royal princes were often sent as governors. Local customs and rules probably followed. Spies were there to watch on the salaried officials. Messengers were sent to and fro. Arthashastra tells us that northwest was important for blankets and South India for golden and precious resources. Important fact about the Mauryan Empire: tribute, unlike taxes which were collected on a regular basis, tribute was collected from people as it when it was possible, from people who gave variety of things more or less willingly. There were forest regions in the Magadha rule which used to provide elephant to be a trained Mughal army. Megasthenes was an ambassador who was sent in the court of Chandragupta Maurya by Greek ruler of West Asia named Seleucus Nicator. Megasthenes wrote an account of what he saw. It was named Indica, or Indica is an account of Mauryan India by the Greek writer Megasthenes. The original book was now lost, but its fragments have survived in the later Greek and Latin works. The earliest of these works are those by the Diodorus Siculus, Strabo, the Geographica, Pliny, and Arrian, the Indica. The most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka. He was the first ruler to try to take his message to people through inscriptions. The state emblem of India is the national emblem of the Republic of India is called as adaptation of the lion capital Ashoka from 250 BC at Sarnath, preserved in the Sarnath Museum near Varanasi. It has 4 lions that face 4 different locations, namely north, east, south, and west. Representation of the lion capital of Ashoka was initially adopted as the emblem of the Dominion of India in December 1947. The current version of the emblem was officially adopted on 26 January 1950, the day where India became a republic. Now coming to Ashok. Ashok was one of the most powerful and popular ruler of the Mauryan dynasty. A grandson of the dynasty's founder Chandragupta Maurya, Ashok promoted the spread of Buddhism across ancient India. Considered by many to be one of the India's greatest emperors, Ashoka expanded Chandragupta's empire to reign over the realms stretching from the present-day Afghanistan in the west to Bangladesh in the east. It covered the entire Indian subcontinent except for the parts of the present-day Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala. The empire's capital was Patliputra in the Magadha, present-day Patna, with the provincial capitals at Taxila and Ujjain. Ashoka waged a destructive war against the state of Kalinga, which is modern-day Odisha, which he conquered in about 260 BCE. According to an interpretation in his edicts, he converted to Buddhism after witnessing the mass deaths of Kalinga war, which he had waged out of a desire for conquest, in which reportedly directly resulted in more than 1 lakh deaths and 1,50,000 deportations. He is remembered for the Ashoka pillars and edicts, for sending Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka and Central Asia, and for establishing monuments making several significant sites in the life of Gautam Buddha. In his edicts, he is referred to as Devanam Priya, the Pali Devanam Priya, or the beloved of the gods, or Priyadarshan, or the Priyadarshi, Pali, he who regards everyone with affection. His fondness for tree is a reason for his name being connected to the Ashoka tree or the Polyalthia longifolia, and this is referenced in the Ashoka Vadan. Ashoka inscriptions. The edicts of Ashoka are a collection of 33 inscriptions of the pillars of Ashoka, as well as the boulders and cave walls issued during his reign. These inscriptions are dispersed through the modern-day Pakistan and India and represent the tangible evidence of Buddhism. The edicts describe in detail the first wide expansion of Buddhism through the sponsorship of one of the most powerful kings of the Indian history, offering more information about Ashoka's proselytism, moral precepts, religious precepts, and the notion of social and animal welfare. Most of the Ashoka's inscriptions are written in the mixture of various Prakrit dialects, the Brahmi script. Several of Ashoka's inscriptions appear to have been set up near towns and important routes and at the places of religious significance. Many of the inscriptions have been discovered in the hills, rock shelters, and places of local significance. Various theories have been put forward about why Ashoka or his officials chose such places, including that they were centers of megalithic cultures and regarded as sacred spots in the Ashoka's time, or their physical grandeur may be symbolic of spiritual dominance. So this is a map of minor rock edicts: the Bahapur, the Bairat, the Babru, the Aurora, the Sasaram, the Rupnath, the Sarumaru, the Maski, the Rajula Mandagiri, the Siddalpur, the Uday Golam, the Nittur, Brahmagiri, Jating Rameshwar, Yeragudi, Gavimat, and Pakil Kundu. These were the sources: Wikipedia. Then Ashoka inscriptions. The edicts of Ashoka are a collection of. Okay, we have already done. Then the major rock edicts: Manasheda, Shahbazgadi, Kandahar, Khalsi, Girnar, Sopar, Sannati, Yeragudi, Jaugarh, and Dholi. Then Ashoka's Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma did not involve the worship of a god or a performance of a sacrifice. Ashoka appointed officials named as Dhamma Mahamat, who went from place to place teaching people about Dhamma. Ashoka inscribed his message on the rock pillars. Ashoka, who sent messengers to spread the idea about Dhamma to other lands like Syria, Egypt, Greece, and Sri Lanka. He built roads, dug wells, and built rest houses. He also arranged for medical treatment for both human beings and animals. The Coinage of India. Coinage of India began anywhere between the earliest 1st millennium BCE to the 6th century BC and consisted of mainly of copper and silver coins in the initial stage. The coins of this period were Kashpanas or Pana, a variety of earliest coins. However, unlike these circulated in the West Asia, were stamped bars of metal, suggesting that the innovation of the stamped currency was added to the pre-existing of the token currency, which had been already presented in the Janpada and Mahajanpada kingdoms of the early historic India. The kingdoms that minted their own coins include Gandhar, Kuntalu, Kuru, Panchal, Magad, Shakya, Sursen, and Saurashtra. The Mauryan Empire coins were punch marked with the royal standard to ascertain their authenticity. The Arthashastra written by Kautilya mentions minting of coins, but also indicates the violation of imperial Maurya standards by private enterprises may have also been an offense. Kautilya also seemed to advocate the theory of bimetallism for coinage, which involved the use of two metals, copper and silver, under one government. The Mauryan rule also saw steady emergence of inscribed copper coins in India, as evidenced by Tripuri coins in the Ashokan Brahmi script and the various pre-Satvahana coins dated 3rd to 2nd century BC in the Deccan. So hope you liked my lecture and hope you learned a lot for the competitive exam. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.